Go through the fire, brave the fire, yeah. Chasing something true, caught in a bind. Maybe undo, maybe undo. 'Cause when every thought fell down and the silence could be better, every motion falling flat. Had to leave you, had to leave you. Now the tide's pulling me back like a fool that put you to work. With the pain you left still fresh, I can heal you, I can heal you.
It's bad, but I can't help myself. When I feel sad, I escape from my sins. Lately music's been my reminiscence. That's when I listen. I know it's bad that I can't help myself. When I get mad, I set fire to the hell. The only way to keep it at a distance, that's when I listen. Music is the reason why I stay. A cheering melody will fix a melancholic heart. The music is the reason. The music is the reason why I stay. I feel alive, I feel alive, I feel alive. The music is the reason. The music is the reason why I stay. I feel alive, I feel alive. The music is the reason. I see the signs when I stay in my shell. As soon as I'm sad, I tend to build a fence. That's when I need tunes to keep on living, like someone's listening. I see the signs when I seek for the lights. I know it's bad when I forget myself. Lately music's been my self-reminder, my self-reminder. Music is the reason why I stay.
Going up.
Prices keep going up these days. It feels like being on an elevator that only goes up.
Going up.
But not at Metro. We're pushing the down button.
Going down.
We've lowered prices. Get one line of 5G data for $40. Period. That's 20% lower. And you get a free Samsung 5G phone when you bring your number. Only at Metro.
5-year guarantee on eligible plans. Exclusions apply. See website for details. Not available at Metro with T-Mobile in the past 6 months. Tax applies.
A Disney cruise is no ordinary vacation. It's an adventure, a fairy tale, a dream. It's where escape meets imagination, where relax.
time I try to fit in, it ends up in misery, yeah. Socializing doesn't fit me, but I can get away so easy. I was born a misfit. Didn't need it. I'm a la 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 loner. La 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 loner. La 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 loner. I'm an outlaw in this world. I'm solo dancing on your body, crazy on my own, but all in. I can feel the eyes all staring, but I don't care about them saying. I was born a misfit, don't go with the cool kids, it's all overrated. No, I never missed it. I was born a misfit, don't go with the cool kids, it's all overrated. I just didn't read it. I'm a la 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 loner. La 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 loner. La 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 loner. I'm an outlaw in this world. I'm a la 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 loner. La 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 loner. La 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 loner. I'm an outlaw in this world.
And one. All right. Now, for the record, since Julie is off dealing with some family stuff, we got to feed kidlets and whatnot. I've got her muted on the mic so that when she comes back, she has a moment to. Okay, now I have to mute myself. And I have to put myself back in my spot. Hello, Trisha. I'm not used to being on bottom.
So we're live, right?
We are live.
I am slow tonight, but I've driven a long way today
Yes, you have.
and I'm not done. I'm so used to typing my response. What am I doing?
I don't know. I don't know.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh my goodness, hon, that sounds bad.
I wouldn't be surprised if I somehow picked up pneumonia or something.
Yeah, I would try and get in to see a doctor before too much longer. It, I mean, there is none of this if you're like out for the count.
I know, but if I don't have money, I can't afford to go to the doctor.
I get that. I really do.
Now here's the other thing. This year, my employer added a such and such, I won't say the name, employer clinic, and they've opened several of them, and it's completely free for me and the dependents who are on my insurance.
So we'll
That being
go.
said, that being said, their hours are difficult for me to go to because they coincide with my work hours. And number 2, it is done by our local health system that has gaslit me and refused to help me for 45 years.
Mm,
So I don't trust a goddamn thing that comes out of their mouths.
I feel that.
But that was also when I didn't know how to advocate for myself. So we'll see. I just have to find a way to get in there. Also, doesn't help that I did more lumberjacking today.
Yes, that can definitely make it worse.
Yes. And I am burning up. Ugh. Yay, perimenopause.
Wait till you get the full thing.
Dang it. Network issues detected. Again.
Uh-oh.
Again.
On your
Again.
computer or the Hold My Pen?
Yeah. No,
Your
mine.
computer?
I mean, they're both mine. But,
Yeah.
you know.
I will be right back. I'm going to get myself some more water.
There we are.
But I figure if I'm going to be reading 5,500 words, I need water.
Right. Water is a necessity. I went to open something and I can't remember what the hell I was trying to open.
Story?
No, I think it was the email. I think I closed the email or I misplaced where I put the email. In one of these damn tabs. So there it is. Okay, we're good. Can everybody hear us? Did we already do mic checks?
I think we did, yeah. We
Yeah,
did mic
and
check.
I've been talking this entire time,
Nobody
but
said that they
the
couldn't hear
mic was
you.
off. The mic was off.
Was mine on at least?
Yeah,
Yep.
yours was on. Yeah, no. I see.
Trisha says she hears everyone.
And
Okay.
on. But no, I just got a follower. I don't know who this is, but they're a gamer. I'm okay. Cool.
Who are they?
I don't know. O2 underscore only underscore league underscore gamer.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Who knows?
So we got a short show tonight because instead of writing a prompt, which actually I was talking it over with Julie, I am going to write this prompt. However, it is a scene that doesn't have any kind of the emotional payoff if I were to release it now. And on top of that, it's very much a part of the climax of one of my books. Therefore not releasing it.
Well,
Y'all
it's
have
one
to
of
buy
those
the
like
book eventually.
it will definitely be a spoiler alert,
Right. We no.
and we don't do spoilers.
And I've been plotting. Well, we do spoilers, but well then you need to get your ears checked, brother. I just lost my train of thought. Oh, 20 to 25,000 words I wrote this week. However, it was all plotting and planning and outlining um and working out logic problems in my head because research is important, right? As we know. And if I have a character driving from Wilmington, Delaware to Three Forks, Montana, there's got to be some logical points where they stop, where they break. You know, if they've got three little kids in tow, more than likely it's going to take longer than if it was a single guy just driving straight across, right? So that's what I was working on all week.
Hmm. Along with she's been under the weather.
Yes. And applying for a promotion and then calling off poorly Friday, not doing it in an appropriate timeline, etc., which does not bode well for this promotion. The only thing that makes me feel better about it is that my boss knows that I've been feeling under the weather since Monday and just kept getting worse and then better and then worse and then better. So it just Friday was and I'm still no better. So who knows? This book might turn into a huge fever dream of bullshit, but we'll see.
Or it might be a bestseller. We don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know yet.
I do know who she has planned for the cast.
Yes.
Would make the most
Dreamcast.
rom-commy girl.
Well, now here's something else. If you're in the Discord, in the general chat, there is a montage, collage, whatever, of 4 douchey-looking dudes, and then below that is my mental actress for Marjorie Huntington, aka Maggie Rhodes, right? Sven and Maggie story we're dealing here. Which one? I would greatly I need input. I need input. Which one of these douche canoes is our Brian Huntington who views his wife as property?
In the general, you said?
In the general, feel free to type in, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and your reasons why he is the one that Marjorie would have fallen in love with. Crowdsourcing to make this the best douche canoe of an asshole written.
I don't know. Number 2 doesn't actually look much like one. He just looks like a misunderstood guy.
All right.
Or just like off his day off, but he actually dresses in suits.
Oh, okay. Julie's voted for number 1 or number 4.
That would
Heavily
I'm
on
kind
number
of
1.
torn. I'm kind of torn between those two myself. It's 1
Yeah,
or
but for
4.
me, I'm heavily leaning toward 1.
I think 4 looks the douchiest.
Now, see, here's the other thing. I know who these actors are, and I've seen
Yeah.
what they play in and whatnot. And that's really what I'm going for, because in my head, when I write, when I'm writing all these characters, I have in my head an actor to play them. So then I see how they move, how they walk, how they talk, the mannerisms, and then form it too. So it helps me plot it out to where I know exactly how their eyebrow is going to lift. And then I can write it. So, crowdsourcing my characters here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it does.
Hmm. Okay. Okay.
You know what I walked off without and left at home today?
What was that?
My emotional support dragon, who still has no name.
Still has no name.
I left my emotional support dragon at home.
Okay. How did we leave the emotional support dragon at home? That emotional support dragon been all the way to Green Bay.
He's sitting in his bag on the bed. I left the bag on the bed. I knew exactly where he is. I remember packing him. I just forgot the bag.
And everything else in it.
Thankfully, it's just I was able to find like a neck pillow to help my neck, so that was the biggest deal. So
All right. All right. So,
Okay.
um, to get things started here, we've just been kind of chit chatting, holding fort, whatnot. We have discussed how Izzy is sick. So, unfortunately, you will be deprived of me reading out our lovely submissions tonight, trying to protect the voice. So, that means our fearless leader and our lead contributor, Cash Butler, will be facing fears and reading aloud. Now, Kesh did really well last week, right?
was that
She
last
gave.
week?
Was that last week? Yeah, that was last week. Sunday,
Oh yeah, it was.
Saturday, Sunday,
It was
right? Did really
Saturday.
well reading your own work out. So it works. Um, but we're all about being kind to one another and uplifting other people up. So that's where we're at today. And now I'm going to shut my pie hole.
Okay. Yeah. Talk about being put on the spot there for a minute. Is he just gonna shrink down under her mic? Please bear with me. There's a reason that I do not read out loud, and there is a reason that Izzy took over as the primary uh, reader when it came to this. So, without further ado, uh, we have our first submission for the night of Mr. P.A. Power and another installment of Heart of Stone. Bum, bum, bum. Chapter 19, The Hollow. The cliffs loom like slumbering giants, mist curling around their jagged edges. Wind howled between the stones, sharp and restless. Scott squinted at the wall of ivy before them. Amanda, what are you doing here? It's just a cliff face. Amanda stepped forward, voice steady. No, it's more. Amelia showed me this place. If she was right, and she always is, brace yourself. She gripped the thick ivy, pulling back in a sweeping motion. Earth loosened. A sliver of ancient stone was revealed, carved, weathered, and unmistakable. A door. But Professor Lynn stared. Hidden right in front of us? With effort, Amanda pushed the stone door inward. The scent of damp earth and forgotten magic spilled out. Inside, the cavern breathed, waking. The moment they stepped in, the chamber responded. Ruins along the walls flickered to life. The pendant around Amanda's neck pulsed warmly. Scott stumbled and choked. Scott stumbled, a choked sound escaping him. He clutched his stomach, then his face, where his features warped, twisting in a grotesque, I'm going to go with that word. It's like flux between man and something else. His skin ripped like stone just beneath the surface. Scott! Amanda rushed to him, gripping his hands. I don't know what this is, he panted. It's like something is trying to rip out of me. Amelia's voice curled in Amanda's mind like smoke. The curse, my child. He feels the bloodlines singing to each other, calling blood to blood. Amanda's throat tightened. So the curse turns them into gargoyles? That means they're alive. Yes, they are living stone, a punishment and a prison. Alive in the day and slumber in stone by night, the opposite of my sweet Ezra. I saw it as cruel irony. They are aware, conscious, but frozen of life around them. The curse locks them at night in place, watching the worlds pass by. It was to keep Ezra's kind from ever being slaughtered by their hands, a way to keep corrupt power from rising unchecked. Because during the day, if they were out and about, they would be called demons. Stone by night, they run risk of being destroyed for existing. Scott fell to his knees, breathing hard. Until Amanda grabbed his hand again. The moment they touched, the pain ceased. He blinked, stunned. What did you do? Nothing, Mando whispered. Or maybe everything? Amelia said the pain comes from from resonance your blood reacting to the ones that came before you. Professor Lynn knelt beside him. Then that means his ancestors are here. Amanda rose, tugging gently at Scott. Come on, I need to show you something. They ventured deeper into the cave, sloping downward, air growing thick with history. Amanda ran her fingers along the wall. At her touch, the glyph ignited, followed by torch after torch, flaring to life in a ripple down the corridor. Light poured over ancient stone, revealing shelves carved directly into the wall, scrolls, leather-bound tomes, and tablets rested in quiet reverence. Professor Lim let out a low whistle. This is record. From 900 AD until now, a library buried in stone. But Amanda wasn't finished. Scott, she whispered, tugging him around another bend. This is what I need you to see. They stepped into the vast chamber, empty. Amanda's breath hitched. No, this can't be. It was full. This was full. Professor Lynn stepped behind them, voice quiet. What what was this full of? Not what, Amanda said, her voice breaking. Who? Scott's eyes scanned the room, body tense. I feel them. They're not gone. They're just somewhere deeper. Compelled, he broke away, following an unmarked path. Amanda and the professor followed close behind. It led them to a narrow staircase winding into darkness. At the bottom, a vaulted chamber opened. Silence, cold, impossible, vast. And there they were, hundreds, thousands. Gargoyle figures lined the walls, some kneeling, others posed in mind motion, wings curled in agony or reverence. Every one of them frozen in time, but unmistakably alive. Scott's breath caught. Oh God. Amanda stepped forward, eyes wet. They're still here. The chamber was impossibly still. Scott stepped into the eerie silence first, the echo of his boots ringing off vaulted stone. Amanda followed, her breath shallow, eyes darting between the statues that lined the walls. They weren't in uniform poses. Each was captured mid-expression, frozen in agony, in rage, and mourning. One knelt with his head bowed, claws buried into the stone at his thighs. Another stood upright, hands raised as if warding something off, mouth stretched into a silent scream. Wings curled and cracked, torsos twisted, faces etched with emotion too raw for marble or granite alone. These weren't just guardians, Amanda whispered. They were people. Professor Lynn trailed behind, flashlight beaming, trembling sight slightly in her hands. Some of these are women, she noted, voices tight, even children. Amanda noted heartache. They weren't all soldiers. Some were families, mothers, lovers, caught in the backlash of a curse that meant for one. A mother turned while with child, That child carries the sin of the mother. Amanda's voice cracked as the tears ran down her face. They moved deeper, weaving between the rows of statues. The torchlight danced across their features, some ancient and crumbling, others uncanny, lifelike. A few seemed to track their movements, eyes glazed in stone, but
Emotional
angled,
damage.
watching. Blood to blood, Amanda whispered. They know he's come. Scott paused beside one statue, a warrior with his mouth parted, fangs bared. His wings were spread wide in defiance. Amanda gasped. He looks just like you, she breathed. Scott turned sharply, and she was right. The facial structure, the square jaw, the scar over the one brow, it was uncanny. And though the features were hardened by pain and time, there was something unmistakably familiar. My father, Scott said softly. The air around them shifted. A sudden low vibration trickled the stone or the soles of their feet. Professor Lin took a cautious step back. Did anyone else feel that? Stone grinded. Stone grinded against stone. Then the pendant at Amanda's neck flared. One of the gargoyles shivered. Ever so slightly. A hand twitched, a frozen eyelid fluttered, and then another and another. A low rumble echoed through the chamber, like the earth itself was singing or sighing. Amanda's voice trembled. They're waking up. It was faint at first, a twitch, a stretch, a groan, as limbs, too frozen, began to move. The silence cracked under the pressure of awakening. One by one, the statue shifted, fingers flexed, heads turned. Stone wings curled with the rasp of ancient earth being disturbed. Not with warmth, not with joy. The first growl etched like gravel down a well. One of the statues, a tall female with jagged wings and hollow eyes, moved. Her head snapped toward Amanda. Her eyes flared with a flicker of internal fire. A low, primal snarl vibrated in her throat. Professor Lin could barely whisper, living gargoyles. They're angry. Professor Lin said, backing away quickly. They see the pendant, Amanda said, clutching it. They feel the old magic. The second gargoyle stepped forward, limping, crumbling at the edges, but powerful. He raised one hand and pointed directly at Amanda. Witch's blood, he rasped, in a voice like crackling boulders. She wears the mark. Amanda froze. No, wait, she started, but another beast stepped forward, followed by a third, eyes glowing faintly, arms moving in heavy, grinding arches. She's not the enemy, Scott shouted, stepping in front of her. She's the one who's brought me here. The largest one, a towering male with 4 deep scars gouged across his chest, let out a guttural roar that shook the dust from the ceiling. The line returns. The blood returns. He pointed at Scott. The heir of Ezra. The curse walks again. Another fails. Another one fails. Then everything happened at once. One of the gargoyles lunged, its clawed hand reaching toward Amanda with crushing force, eyes wild with centuries of grief and rage. Amanda screamed, stumbling back, but Scott moved faster. He stepped between them, arms outstretched. Stop! It halted mid-strike. His claws hovered inches from Scott's chest, trembling with effort, eyes blazing with fury, locked into his. Then recognition. The glow dimmed. The claw's hand dropped to his side. It bowed its head slightly. The others, one by one, slowed, watching, feeling, sensing, blood to blood. Scott's skin shimmered faintly. Again, stone rippling under the flesh. The gargoyle responded in kind. A ripple of faint blue-white light pressed through the room, brushing over every beast like a heartbeat, like a memory. The giant with the 4 scars approached slowly, his voice dropping into something older, heavier. You carry both lines. Scott's voice was low. Yes. Then you carry the burden and the light. Amanda gripped his arm. What does that mean? The leader turned its gaze to her. He is one of us, and soon he must choose if he joins our coven. Every now and again, the bloodlines cross over time. This makes the torches lining the chamber flared suddenly, casting the space into dancing gold and black. Dozens of gargoyles' eyes gleamed in the light, tracking Scott. Amanda's whisper, keys. Professor Lynn whispered from behind them, Amanda, I think the real altar isn't stone. I think it's them. Scott looked down at his hands, stone creeping over his knuckles like vines reclaiming the old ruins. Amanda swallowed hard. We need to find out, or we need we need to find the heart of this place before they decide to make you part of it. Scott turned to her, voice barely above a whisper. Or before I decide to stay. The gargoyle's claw dropped, but the tension in the chamber remained thick. Dozens of glowing eyes bore down on them, unmoving but watching, judging. The silence cracked under the weight of what wasn't being said. Scott turned to Amanda slowly, stone still rippling faintly beneath the skin of his arms. Her voice broke. So you would leave me? Scott's face contorted, glinted sorrow and resignation all colliding into his chest. Not by choice, Amanda. How could I ever force you to love the monster I will become? This is why I never wanted to fall in love, because I knew I would end up losing you. She took a step toward him, eyes glistening. Then why even think of it? Do you think so little of me that I would not love you regardless? I grew up hearing stories about a curse in my family, he said softly. Tales whispered at funerals, old wise warnings. Ghost stories meant to scare kids straight. But even as a child, I felt it. Something inside me knew it wasn't just a story. I know it's true. Amanda said, voice trembling. But I also know we can break it. Before he could answer, the gargoyle with the 4 slashes on his chest stepped forward again. His voice was a grinding snarl, ancient and angry. Nonsense. You spout lies. His his gaze fixed on Amanda like a blade. You are of her blood, the one who cursed us. You think her mark on your chest? You wear her mark on your chest. You speak her name with reverence, or without reverence. Amanda stood her ground. I'm not here to hurt you. Lies. The gargoyles roared, his voice shaking the walls, the very stone around them quivering. Dust cascaded from the ceiling. The other statues tensed again, claws twitching, wings stretched slightly in warning. By day we are able to move freely, and by night we're stone. Our children are now beasts themselves, hatched from eggs. If you're not here to hurt us, why are you even here? Professor Lynn raised her hand, voice urgent. Stop. She's telling you the truth. Silence, scholar. You know nothing of pain, of wanting, of waiting in the dark while time devours our memories. His eyes flashed brighter. She is her echo, her blood, her curse reborn. Amanda flinched, then then stepped in front of Scott now, despite the giant that loomed. I am of her blood, she said, voice shaking, but I am not your enemy. I did not curse you. I did not lock you in stone. I am here because she brought me here, and because she's tired of the suffering too. The room grew deadly quiet. She, the gargoyle repeated, you speak of she as if she still lingers. Amanda slowly touches the pendant at her neck. The moonstone glowed faintly, wrapping in flame. She is with me, always. Her voice, her memories, her pain, and her regret. Another growl rippled through the chamber. You expect us to believe she regrets anything? Scott stepped forward again, his voice firm. You felt it when I walked in, blood to blood. I am one of you, and she's stopped the pain. When Amanda touched me, it ended. If that isn't proof she's not here to destroy you, then what is? The slash gargoyle loomed taller, looked between the two of them. If she bears the key, he rumbled, then let her open the door and prove she is more than the vessel of a curse. Amanda swallowed hard. What door? The gargoyle expanded one massive arm, pointing toward the center of the chamber. The stone under their feet began to shift with deep rumbling. A circular pattern revealed itself in the floor, pulsing faintly with blue light. Ancient glyphs carved in the spiral toward the center. The altar is not stone, it's soul. If her blood speaks truth, the altar will answer her. Amanda looked to Scott, who gave her the faintest nod, his hand brushing hers. She stepped forward toward the center, toward the choice. Amanda stepped toward the center of the glyph covered floor, the pendant at her neck pulsing in rhythm with each step. The light beneath her feet grew brighter. Lines of power weaving outward like veins cracking through old stone. The gargoyle stilled, watching. Scott's voice echoed behind her, distant, anxious. Amanda, be careful.
Patrick just
Be-
said add.
okay, I could finish
Sorry.
this in the moment
I didn't.
her foot touched the center of the spiral. The altar flared with searing light. Wind roared through the chamber without warning, whipping her hair around her face. The torches flared, then extinguished all at once. The floor beneath her rumbled, then cracked. No.
Hold on, Julie.
Scott.
Hold on. Patrick, they can't hear.
The ad's covering you.
Oh. Yeah, but now I don't know when.
You're fine. Start at the altar is not stone. That's about when it kicked off.
Okay. Like, I'm not looking over here. I got a kiss signal.
I don't see anything on my end. It's all Izzy.
I know. I was like watching the timer and then I got so into the story that I forgot to look back over at the timer and hit snooze.
Oops.
It happens.
See, I don't hear or see any ad either, but I've also got that one muted.
Well, also, we have the subscription, so.
Yeah. Well, so does Patrick. Patrick has the Prime subscription.
No, Patrick doesn't have his Prime or subscription for us.
He's got the Prime Gaming. It's right on his.
Yeah, I had the Prime Gaming too, but unless you have the little month or subscriber.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
We're back.
The altar is not stone. It is soul. If her blood speaks truth, the altar won't answer her. Amanda looked to Scott, who gave her the faintest nod, his eyes brushing hers, or his hand brushing hers. She stepped forward toward the center, toward the choice. Amanda stepped toward the center of the glyph-covered floor, the pendant at her neck pulsing in rhythm with each step. The light beneath her feet grew brighter, lines of power weaving outward like veins cracking through old stone. The gargoyle stilled, watching. Scott's voice echoed behind her, distant and anxious. Amanda, be careful. The moment her foot touched the center of the spiral, the altar flared with searing light. Wind roared through the chamber without warning, whipping her hair around her face. The torches flared and then extinguished all at once. The floor beneath her rumbled, then cracked. No, Scott's Scott's cut or Scott's shut. Bleh. Scott's shout cut through the chaos, but Amanda couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Her body was suspended in a web of light and shadow, glyphs spiraling upward from the floor and wrapped around her like ghostly vines. The air vibrated with ancient power, stone walls screaming. Gargoyles shielded their eyes. One of the gargoyles lunged, another shouted something in a language lost to time. But it was too late. A sharp, splintering sound rang out, like glass shattering in her mind. Scott's voice, raw, panicked. Amanda! And then silence, stillness, darkness. Amanda blinked. She was no longer in the cave. The heat from the altar, the torchlight, Scott's voice, it was all gone. Now she stood alone. The room around her was unfamiliar, vast, doomed, and dimly lit by the soft violet glow that bled down the walls like starlight. The air was cold and smelled faintly of ash and old magic. Her voice cracked in the silence. Scott? No answer. Just her own heartbeat, loud, lonely, in her own chest. She turned in place, wide-eyed. Where was she? The last thing she could remember was the sound of something breaking like glass and Scott's screaming her name. Da, da, da.
Speechless. I don't know what to say to that. Yes, we're looking at you, Patrick. Does she survive? I need to know.
Don't act all innocent over there.
Uh-uh. You are not innocent, Patrick. What? Mm-mm.
Okay. I need to
What did
take
you
a real quick.
do? What what did you do? What did you do? What did I do? What did you do? I, is that serious? Seriously? Look, I'm sorry. The worst thing the bear can do to me is kill me. Yes, I'm making that comparison. Exactly. You're like, well, at least they're still alive. There are worse things than still being alive. Death would have been a kindness at this point. At least they're still alive. What did I do?
How do we know they're still alive? Oh, are you talking about the gargoyles? Because okay, yeah, cool, they're still fucking alive. But here's the problem here: we don't know where the fuck Amanda went.
That's what I want to know. Where is she?
Yes,
Did she fall
but
through the realms? Is she back in
900.
Amanda's or in Amelia's timeline? Like, what the fuck?
I'm sorry. Right now, I don't give a flying fuck about Amanda. Okay, yeah, I mean I do. But all of those hundreds, those thousands of gargoyles, trapped, aware, unable to move in their own skin. Are you fucking kidding me? The worst thing the bear can do is kill me.
Where'd the bear come in from?
Remember a man or bear?
Oh.
So what Amelia fucking did with her lovely little curs was turned her enemies into living stone that can't move and has been torturing them since 900 AD. Yeah. So that means, Patrick, you've made me very angry. Not you, but you did write it, so I'm appropriately placing blame. But that means it's powerful. And if I had more of a voice, I'd be yelling and screaming at you right now, but I don't. So you're lucky I'm sick.
You won't believe who just showed up. Green Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she turned around and told me she was riding the back roads. I said, all right, cool. She's like, are you gonna be at home? And I'm sitting there like, I have my show tonight. Of course I'm at home. And yeah, now Robbie is outside keeping people entertained while I'm trying to do this. So yeah, that's fine. All right, moving right the frig along after I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't. I want to say, I want to, everything like that, but I don't know what the fuck to feel on that one. It's not even a what the fuck, it's a who the fuck. And I'm the one that read it. By the way, I'm sorry that I ended up stumbling over a couple of words. My bad. Um,
You're muted.
no, that's entirely, that's intentional. Okay, so I guess moving right along, unless Izzy wants us to wait on her.
I mean, she's off screen. I don't know what the answer is to that.
I don't know. I think she can still hear us though. We have the anonymous up next with Marked by the Dawn. So this is going to be. Why do I always have to deal with the emotional damage? Keep going. I can hear you. Okie dokie. So
this better not be heavy.
Is our anonymous 3 and Marked by the Dawn. Let's see what kind of shenanigans we're gonna get into over here. Let me get a good drink of this first, though, because that's a lot of reading. I know. I feel very bad for Izzy. We're gonna have to figure out the breakup of the reading schedule now. Like, I understand why her vocal cords like hurt for hell. All right, chapter 13, the pull between us. Clary rolled over, wrapping the sheet around her naked body as she turned her back to Anthony. She tucked it under her chin and smiled to herself, biting her lip. He was being playful again, smug, affectionate,
Giggity.
and just a little overbearing. Anthony wasn't having it. Now, he murmured, tugging her gently into the curve of his chest. Just because we mated and I murked you doesn't mean you get to ignore me now. Sorry. Hold on a second. Sorry, professional. She let out a soft snort and rolled her eyes, but the warmth of his bare chest against hers made. Sorry, hold on.
Trying to keep a straight face, but I can't. She's laughing.
Sorry, everybody. Hold on.
Do I
I
need to
have a
read it?
feeling they're gonna be teasing the fuck out of me later over this, so it's like, don't, just fucking don't. I can't breathe. Is it hot in here? It is fucking hot in here. Okay. I think it's the snort that gets it for me because I tried to pull an Izzy and read like a couple of words ahead, and it was like, no, there we go. Whew. Okay, professional. Where did I leave off? Okay. She let out a soft snort and rolled her eyes. The warmth of his bare chest against her back. Made her melt into him. His lips brushed over her neck. Yeah. Uh,
It's infectious.
yeah, no. Uh, I'm trying. I'm sorry, guys. This is gonna make for great gag reels later. He brushed his lips. His lips brushed over her neck, right where the mark still tangled, fresh and tender. The sensations sent a little shiver skittering down her spine. I knew you were mine the moment I laid eyes on you, he whispered into her ear, his voice low and reverent. I'm sorry, but it's just not my wolf that's protective. I am too, of you, of Ava. Now that you're mine, Clary, I'll adopt her formally. She'll never question if she belongs. She'll never question if she belongs to me. I'll bring you into our world, slowly, carefully, I swear. One day, you'll have our pups. But know this, Ava will always be our first child. Clary sighed, her lashes already fluttering closed as sleep tugged at her. Hmm, that sounds nice, she mumbled. Her fingers curled into his arms, and with the rhythmic lullaby of his breath at her neck and lips still peppering soft kisses across her neck. She drifted off, and then the dark came. It always began the same way. She and Ava were running, barefoot, slapping across concrete. Her daughter's tiny hand clutched tightly to hers. The hall was endless, flickering lights overhead, shadows crawling on walls. Screams echoed behind them. A low growl ceased or chased at their heels. They burst through a heavy door and found themselves on a rooftop garden. Overgrown vines, broken planters, and glass walls surrounding them. The ground beneath them was clear, but not solid. Glass panels stretched under their feet, the greenhouse below visible like a fragile trap. Don't stop, she screamed, pulling Ava across. But the cracks came anyway. A sharp snarl of splintered glass, a scream, a fall, and then silence. When Clary opened her eyes, she she was standing in an unfamiliar room, cold, bloody, silent. Corpses littered the floor, some human, other wolves mid-shift, piles of them, blood pooled beneath her bare feet. At the far end of the chamber was a throne, made of bone and iron, and something worse. A shadowed figure sat upon it, glowing blood-red eyes fixed on her. As he stood, a howl rippled from his chest and echoed through the chamber. A werewolf, massive, snarling, dripping blood, stepped into the light. White teeth gleamed beneath gore-soaked fur. His growl, he growled and snapped his jaw at her. Clearly screamed, Ava, Ava, where are you? No answer. She turned in circles frantically, heart racing as tears streamed down her cheeks. Anthony, she sobbed, you said you'd keep us safe. The beast padded closer, jaws parting, black claws clinking on the blood-slicked floor, and then hands on her shoulders, shaking her. Clary, wake up. Anthony's voice was panicked, gravel thick with emotion. His eyes flashed amber, his wolf barely held at bay. He'd nearly shifted, trying to pull her from the dream. She gasped awake, body rigid, chest heaving. She blinked rapidly, trying to register the room, his face, his touch. I was having a nightmare, she whispered, her voice crackling. I was in danger, and you didn't come to save me. Anthony's grip tightened, the pain of disappointment rippling through the newly made mate bond. It wasn't real, baby. You're here. You're safe. I've got you. I'm not sure it was just a dream, Clary whispered, trembling. Something about it felt real. Too real. Anthony frowned, brushing sweat-damp hair from her face. What did you see? Before she could answer, tiny feet thundered down the hall, and the door burst open. Mommy, are you okay? Ava's voice rang with fear as she scrambled into the bed. Clary opened her arms and gathered her close. Yes, sweetie, Mommy's fine. Ava tilted her head, nose wrinkling like a pup. Mommy, why do you smell different now? Clary blinked, stunned silence. Anthony chuckled and kissed the top of Ava's curls. Daddy thinks Mommy is a very bad liar. I know she is, Daddy, Ava said solemnly, snuggling closer to Clary. But so am I. I'm a good girl, and good girls don't tell lies. Anthony leaned in and pressed a soft kiss to Clary's shoulder, right where his mark glowed faintly beneath her skin. A shiver raced up her spine. Funny? Clary whispered, staring at Ava. Did you just... Ava smiled shyly and nodded. What? I was only agreeing with Daddy. Anthony winked. Told you she's special. Clary stared at her daughter, thought spinning. Sometimes something about the dream still lingered in her bones, not just fear, but memory. She saw herself again, a mountain, a mountain lake, giggling as she splashed with another girl who looked just like her. Twins laughed, sunlight, then darkness, deep growls, rough hands, shadows dragging one of them away. Her mother screamed, fighting. Her last words to Clary were urgent. Wild. Run. Then silence. Anthony let out a sigh. Bunny, can you do Mommy and Daddy a favor? He pointed toward the two robes hanging by the bathroom door. Ava nodded and tiptoed over to grab them. I'll be just outside the door if you need me, Mommy, she whispered sweetly. Come on, Anthony. Come on, Anthony murmured, tugging Clary gently up from the bed. There's a surprise waiting for you in the garage. Clary followed him barefoot, still rattled by the dream, but anchored by his warmth and Ava's small hand in hers. She opened the door with a flourish, or he opened the door with a flourish. Inside, bathed in soft glow of the overhead lights, sat a sleek luxury SUV, pearl white with black tinted windows, silver trim gleaming in the moonlight. A giant bow was tied across the hood. Clary gasped, stunned. Anthony slipped an arm around her waist and murmured, Ours now. You'll need something safe, fast, bulletproof, fully equipped for you and Bunny. No one's getting near my family again. Clary looked from the car to him, and for the first time in what felt like forever, the future didn't seem like something to fear. It just needed to be remembered.
Once we got past the giggles.
Sorry,
I mean, I wasn't helping.
you were helping.
You have an infectious laugh. What can I say?
I do. You do. I do. Everybody do. And the ad starts.
Mhm.
And and yet, and yet, and yet, this is what you motherfuckers put me through every single week.
Yes, but I try very hard not to get you to read anything embarrassing, unless I give you a heads up. And it's not a heads up of what's in it. It's usually a heads up of Julie can't freaking stop laughing her ass off. It's like, I can't do anything.
True, Patrick.
That's
was
true. That's true. No smutty reads. There's a limit to what we're gonna push the envelope.
There is a limit if it's too violent or if it's violent in a certain nature. No, we're not reading it on here. If it
Nope.
strikes that line between a certain level of taboo, we will not be reading it on here. It's this is a safe space for everybody, and we don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable about it. And at the same time,
Right.
we like doing stuff like this. We like being able to read the next line and bust out freaking laughing, and nobody has any idea what the next line is. Only we do. But it's the snort. It's the fucking snort that got me. Why did she have the fucking snort? I think I could have got away with it if it wasn't for the snort. No, because I couldn't read that. I literally had to choke through that fucking paragraph.
Well, we got it out of your system.
Anonymous happens to be, and they know who they are.
Strongly worded letter.
Oh, I don't even think it's at this point. It's a strongly worded letter. I think it's a strongly worded wiffle ball bat.
Oh God.
And we have an ad starting in 2 minutes, so I will not be reading anything until I have had a cigarette and a good talking to myself. Mainly just due to the fact of I'm like, what the fuck are you guys making me do here? The same thing we make Izzy do every week.
I can take over if you want.
You're gonna get yours. I'm still gonna read Trisha's because honestly, I haven't got to read a Trisha post before.
Okay.
Road trip. If I had a little bit more funds and I knew the car wouldn't break down or I wouldn't have to rely on other people for the kindness of strangers for transportation, that there might be a road trip involved in a strongly worded wiffle ball bat.
I mean, I'm only 2.5 hours from you right now.
Well, yeah, but you still got to go all the way down and then come all the way back up.
Yeah, I know. Oh,
fan fiction.
Wow. Okay. Also, this is one of Trisha's longer ones.
Yeah.
And by longer, I mean like this is 1,053 words.
That's good job, Trisha. Oh, my body is not happy with me.
Now, I hope I can do it justice. I'm hoping I'm doing justice tonight because quite literally, I think honestly we take for granted that Izzy does a lot of the work, whether it's the behind the scenes, Patrick throwing up the "don't be suspicious," especially when he's being suspicious.
I know, Karen. I know. She started it. But if you want to be technical, you started it by tapping that ass a year and a half ago. So I don't know what your problem is.
speaking of
I don't know. I don't know if it falls under the "don't be suspicious." Don't be suspicious.
Pepper
Cats are
came up and
always
like
suspicious.
tapped him in the ass and, shoved her nose up there, smelling, doing the things that cats do. And he meowed like he just got goosed.
Well, it might have been a cold nose.
Might have been a cold nose. And okay, so Kieran does not make a lot of vocal noise. It does not make a lot of vocal noise, does not meow a lot or anything. It's not one of the vocal cats around here. And so when he did that, I went, of course I'm going to look because I don't hear that specific meow and mew very often. And, then he turns around and has a talking to with her and she goes, "Oh hell no you didn't." And like full on body slams him, so he body slams her back. I'm like, and then he's sitting there looking all like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "Dude, I get that she started it, but technically When she came into this house, you started it.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be a statute of limitations on that?
I don't know. Because he left her neck pretty raw and nasty with a huge scab that formed and everything. And she lost a big chunk of hair back there because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
He was marking her.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad he was shooting blanks.
Yes, we are very glad that Kira/Kieran is not a live action.
Intact. Yeah.
So, don't be suspicious.
Bow chicka wow wow.
Right.
And I am overheating. Okay, so something that I also noticed. Okay, ad
Oh,
break ends in about a minute.
Gibbed.
Oh, he figured out how to do it.
We just need one more. I don't know what happens when we reach 10, but I know we just need one more.
But you know what? Char's gonna be really happy because she wasn't sure if that was going to kick up on the stream when somebody subscribed with Prime, and it did.
Yes, yes, it did.
It did.
It did.
We
It
like
did. It
that.
did. Very much so.
Oh, but what I was getting ready to say before fever dream like brain takes over, I didn't get the newsletter out in a good time frame. I had it all set up and ready, and I was getting ready to hit submit, and I got distracted. So it should have been in inboxes Monday morning. Now, with the fact that we've been doing Saturday night and Sunday night, okay, putting out the newsletter Sunday afternoon just kind of, we don't have all the well, no, it's not that, right? Our original deadline was 3 p.m. Central on Saturday, right? But now that we've kind of extended it out to Sunday with having a second night, technically people get a little bit more of a reprieve. Okay, 3 p.m. Sunday, right? So your deadline is 3 p.m. Central Saturday. If you want a 90% chance that you're going to be read out on Saturday night.
Right.
If you couldn't get it, or you're doing last minute adjustments, whatever, you have to finish it up, got to send it in by 3 p.m. Sunday, means you're going to get read Sunday night. Well, that means that we're not getting the tallies in for the million word challenge for the newsletter until Sunday afternoon after the newsletter has already gone out. So shifting the newsletter to Monday might be the better bet.
Yes. Again, all things
I
that
mean, you
we need
still
to put sticky notes down on and be able to have a meeting and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. Yeah.
stickies.
So we can inform our writers, readers, audience members of the changes
Yep.
of schedule and everything like that. This week, though, we will not be doing a second show tomorrow night because we won't have anything for the second show for tomorrow night.
Nope. I mean, if we just hang out,
I mean,
we
yeah,
can
we
do
could.
that too, but it really does depend. I mean, if you're following, you should have notifications on to see when we go live or whatnot. So it comes across your screen on push notifications, if you're logged into your mobile device. But considering how me sicky, Patrick off camping, Kesh traveling and Shar having guests preventing her from being able to go live, that's 4 out of the 5 of your regularly scheduled hosts who are otherwise
Yeah,
not
we're
available.
doing the thing, but we're trying our damnedest to try to keep everything rocking and rolling.
And on top of that, I got hit with a weed violation on my property for my downed tree. So all day tomorrow, me and the kids are going to try finishing it up because we have to have it done by Monday when the city comes by again, so that they don't come on the property, handle it for me, and charge me an arm and a leg. So I may be going to bed early tomorrow.
You mean tonight?
Well,
Or tomorrow?
tonight, so no, what I'm saying is after all day tomorrow lumberjacking in my sickened state.
Okay, I get it. Sorry.
Yeah,
Takes me a
No,
minute.
you're good.
tomorrow I will be ruling house with an iron fist to get writing and house back in order, and hopefully, before it gets too hot outside, we're gonna go out here back with a what?
I just saw Kesh's word count.
Yeah, I know, right? Kesh is going to be reading Kesh's. Julie is not reading Kesh's. And of course, the grandkids are here. So let's go ahead and move right on into Trisha's so we can get into Kesh's. And so we can do the roll for the night to see exactly how, I wouldn't say screwed we are going to be, but I know this group very well.
How screwed?
Yeah, how screwed. I was trying to be nice about it. I don't. But the whole thing is everything that I've read in after Trisha's will be within equal to what Kesh is. So technically, that's why I'm still doing Trisha's, is because between the 3 that I read equals the word count she's got. So
It equals out.
It's an even voice.
It's a 50-50 split.
Yeah. And I do apologize. I know I'm not as good as Izzy when it comes to reading. So I am doing my utter best over here not to completely fuck everything up.
Like I said, I just have a lot to say.
You do, and you're very descriptive about the way you say it too. So there we go. All right, on to Trisha, and apparently fan fiction this week, according to her in the chat. So here we go. I looked around. Where am I? I thought. The last thing I remembered was like breaking glass. I am now standing in this unfamiliar room. I quietly walked around the room, checking every inch for anything I knew. It seemed to be a bedroom. It had a large, ornate bed with velvet curtains collected at the corner posts. On the wall opposite of the bed was a Victorian era dresser with a huge mirror. I ran my hand along the top of the dresser when I saw movement in the mirror. I looked up and saw a figure standing in a shadow near the bed. I turned to face the bed, but no one was there. Confused, I turned back to the mirror, and the shadow figure was still there. "Hello, Sarah," the figure said, stepping into the moonlight. "I heard you wanted to speak with me." It was the Goblin King. He looked as amazing as I had remembered. As he looked at me, I forgot how to breathe. You had to give me my favorite fucking one. Trisha, I love you and bite me.
The Goblin King
course.
lives.
Of course, I have to collect two best friends who are obsessed with the fucking Goblin King, and I'm over here going, eh.
David Bowie in tights, give me a break.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the cod piece. It's the cod piece.
But I have to surround myself, apparently. I collect people who are obsessed with things that I'm like, eh. So I gotta hear about it still. I'm okay. It's good. It's good.
Okay. After a moment, I said in a whisper, I want to go back to the labyrinth. With a cocky grin, he said, I thought I had no power over you. I just blushed. I felt seen there. I'm not seen here. I sighed. They are more worried about keeping Toby happy. But Sarah, it has been a few years since you were here. How do you know it will be the same way now? I have been a live-in babysitter for years, I said. I was talking I was talked into going to a local college to save money, but I can't even get a job because I have to watch Toby every night. He stood silently for a moment before saying, allow me time to think about it, and I will get back to you. I nodded. Then I woke up on the sofa in my living room. I looked around and I saw a broken glass on the floor. I must have dropped it when I fell asleep, I thought as I carefully cleaned up the glass. After I was done, I turned the lights off and went upstairs. I checked on Toby. He was sound asleep with Lancelot, the teddy bear I gave him, and the toy dump truck. I shook my head as I closed his door, then headed to my room. Once I closed the door, I went and flopped down on my bed. I just kept thinking about the dream. It seemed so real. Was that his bedroom? Why didn't he just come here like all the others do? I sighed, get ready for bed, and went to sleep, knowing my dad and stepmother will be home in a few hours. I knew they would want me to stay up, but I had class in the morning. The next morning, when I got up, no one was home. There was a note on the fridge from my dad saying that he and stepmom had early meetings and took Toby to daycare a little early. At least I didn't have to get scolded for not being up when they got home, I thought as I ate breakfast and headed to class. It was a typical day at college, though I couldn't stop thinking about the dream. Was it a dream or was it something else? But how could it be anything but a dream? When I got home, I went straight to my room to put things away before going to the kitchen to make something to eat. While I was sitting at the kitchen island eating the peanut butter and banana sandwich, my dad, stepmom, and Toby came in. Hello, Sarah, Dad said, sitting at the kitchen table. I waved since I had a mouthful of sandwich. My stepmother started making dinner. Are you joining us for dinner? She asked. No, I have a lot of homework to get done before this weekend, I answered, getting up and putting my dishes in the sink. You never eat with us anymore, Dad said, or sounded sad. I'm sorry, but college is really demanding, I responded. This summer I will be able to spend more dinners with you three. He nodded. Okay. I went back up to my room, finding Hoggle sitting on my bed. I love Hoggle. Well, hello, Hoggle, I said, smiling. Sarah, did you call the Goblin King? He asked without saying hello. No, but I think he came to me in a dream last night, I answered. He sighed. What did you say to him? That I wanted to go back. I miss being seen. That's why he sent me to talk to you. He grumbled, hopping off my bed. Sit down. We need to talk. What is there to talk about? I asked. I'm unhappy here. I felt alive there. Do you remember that Jared kidnapped your baby brother? He said, and had you fight through the labyrinth to save him. One, Toby is my half brother. And two, I made it through with all of you helping me. I said, do you want to go back because of Jared? Hoggle asked. I hesitated before I say, I feel more like myself there. Hoggle grumbled. He is not a good man, Sarah. He will use you. Hoggle, you and the others are my friends, and I want to be able to speed or spend my time with all of you. He sighed. Fine. There's a surprise for you in the garage. Just make sure you really want to leave here because you will not be able to come back. Thank you, Hoggle, I said. Don't thank me. This is the Goblin King's doing, he said. It's in a little blue box. Only you can see it in the far corner near some shelves. Why is it in the garage? I asked. That's where Jareth told me to put it, he answered. I nodded. With that, he opened the door that normally isn't there, and he left. I sat thinking about what Hoggle said after everyone was asleep. Later that night, I went down to the garage to find the little blue box. I found it right where Hoggle said it would be. I took it up to my room. Once back in my room, I sat at the vanity, just looking at the box.
Hello, darling.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, wait, I don't have to type it. We're done. Wow. This brings me joy. Just
This brings me
seeing,
so
like,
much joy.
just seeing,
Oh,
like, hearing the characters, like,
I can't do Hoggle's voice.
you're
I
fine.
do Hoggle's voice, but it was like Hoggle. I love Hoggle. It's like
Ludo is my favorite, and oh, the little
Pluto is
fox
still
guy,
my favorite, and technically the
Ludo.
fly.
No,
What?
okay, so here's what I'm gathering. If Trisha continues to maybe pull this out every now and again to do a fan fiction in this world, that means I now have to watch the movie so that I can attempt to do the different voices.
Or you could have me or Julie do it.
Oh yeah,
This
yeah,
is
yeah.
true. This is true.
And the Goblin King. God rest the Goblin.
Yes.
Oh,
Ziggy
speaking of
Stardust.
which, if you want the David Bowie biography, Cash, just let me know.
Ooh. Tell
It's
me when
on
you're
my
feeling better. I'll swing by.
it's yeah, because I'm not gonna read it. I mean,
Okay.
no offense to the legendary David Bowie. No offense to him whatsoever. He was an amazing person. But I don't read physical biographies. So
Like I said, I'll be by when you're feeling better.
Right.
I literally drive by your house on my way home from work.
Okay.
Well, on top of that, it belonged to Pop.
Oh,
So,
Well,
okay.
Dad had good taste. In so many things.
but yeah, have y'all not seen me wearing his dresses? Of course, my father had taste.
Hey, that black dress looks fucking amazing on you.
That one's mine.
The black one with the blue flowers on it?
The black lacy one that goes down longer in the back than the front,
Yeah.
and it has flowers on it. Yeah, no, that's mine.
Oh, I thought that was Dad's.
The blue and white tie dye looking one
Yeah, the fade out.
that I wear a lot, the fade, that was Pop's.
Oh, okay. While we get and Cash gets set up to read hers for the night, I'm going to go and hop off camera and mic for a minute because I have one of my grandkids outside screaming and crying, and I need to figure out why. So I will be right back.
Okay.
There we go.
When's the next ad break?
Unsure.
Okay.
It gives us the warning at 5 minutes till.
Okay. I'm just kind of, since it's so long, I was just kind of wanting like some type of sense, but
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm ready to go. So there's no like real prepping other than maybe hydration. I still have to go back last week and see your reactions from last week's story.
Yeah, which
You're in,
we did. Apparently, I refreshed something in the back end, and I was able to publish the one that was not saved.
you
And
said that.
yes, and so because I was able to publish it on Twitch, I was then able to export it over to the YouTube channel. And we've also gone through, um, and instead of having all of our current ones from this platform private, waiting for Shar to be able to edit them down for scuff and cut things out and whatnot, they're just public. Just, you know, enjoy them
You
in
might want
their
to
raw format.
just time index them for people who want to skip past the scuff.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely have to do that. I have to go in. But that means watching 3-hour videos again. Some of those are like 2.5, 3-hour long videos. And so determining, okay, where does Trisha's story start? Where does PA Power start? Where does Cash's start? And putting those timestamps in there so that way you can jump to them very quickly. That's a long, tedious process.
Oh, yeah. Well, I
So,
mean, there's other people on the team that can help.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing saying, but we've all got stuff going on. So it's like, um, again, since we have Shar on Atlantic time, you and me on Eastern, Julie and Patrick on Central, and
Hmm.
jobs and work and everything else.
Yeah.
We got to do what we
Awesome.
got to do.
Yeah, exactly. So are we starting without Julie or are we going to give her a few minutes?
Ad starts in 4 minutes and 41 seconds.
Why don't we wait till after the ad's done? That gives her time to come back.
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Sounds very good to me. Okay, I have to run to the bathroom. The
Okay.
downside of being sick.
All right. So, hi everybody. I guess this is a good time to go get yourself some snacks or something if you need them. Drinks, refresh your drinks, whatever. Anyone have something going on that they want to talk about? Take a break then too. Oh yeah, I saw you post that in the Discord. I need to go check that out. Unfortunately, like after we're done here tonight, I need to be getting right to bed since I need to leave early in the morning to get myself down to Florida at a reasonable time. About how long is the book? Like the audio? Perfect for a 7.5 hour drive. I might see if I can check that out. Maybe I'll play it on my trip tomorrow. Or the rest of my trip.
Okie dokie.
Now you need to what? Oh, here it is. No, we're just waiting for Izzy to come back.
Yep. Kind of find out
Oh,
that it was my grandson that was crying, and the reason he was crying was literally because he was trying to take off with Nana's clamps, and Papa told him no, and he might have got thumped in the hand when he tried to take them and throw them. So,
Izzy says go. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we'll go back to that. So my story this week is called Of Dreams. More drink. Don't. She woke with a start, her chest heaving from sudden jolt of adrenaline in her system. Once the fire had been lit, she felt herself be consumed. Looking around, she touched her legs and then her arms, satisfied there were no burns. It felt surreal. The thought crossed her mind as her breathing began to slow down and she began to recognize that she was in her own room, in her own house. She flopped back down on the bed, finding the control for her LED light she kept as a dim lamp for when she needed to get up and use the restroom. The light brought the room into full clarity, making it a little easier to calm down. The dreams had been becoming more and more vivid and intense. This had been the worst yet. Shauna actually felt the pain. Looking up at the ceiling, she thought about what she had seen in the dream this time. Each breath she took, she thought of different things she had experienced: the faces, the yelling, being dragged from the stonework manor house, the flames, his face as he was held back by whoever were the, the ones lighting the fire. Everything was still fresh in her mind. She debated on whether or not to try to go back to sleep or get up for the day. Going back to sleep should have been the obvious answer. It was going to be a long day with her daughter's birthday party being then. She looked at the alarm, seeing that it was only 2:34 in the morning. She had maybe been asleep for 3 hours, if that. Going back to sleep was the default option with that information. She queued up an astronomy podcast, turned the light back out, and curled up on her side and closed her eyes, trying to push the images from her mind. Finally, being able to relax, she started breathing slowly and felt her consciousness slip away into the darkness of sleep. Quick, hide behind the sofa! Shauna heard her daughter, Mia, whispering to her two friends that had slept overnight as part of her now 12-year-old's birthday celebrations. She decided to play along and act surprised when they jumped out at her. She continued to look straight ahead, making it seem like she didn't know the three girls were there. It was harmless fun, she told herself. Boo! The girls jumped from their hiding spot, Shauna throwing the plasticware and paper plates up, making it look like she had been so scared she had dropped them. In the process of faking her surprise, she knocked her glasses off and launched them across the room. Oh, you've got to be kidding. A text came on her watch. She held her wrist up to glance at who had texted her. It was Katja, her daughter Mia's friend, Julia's mother. She dropped her arm, wanting to find her glasses first. Did one of you girls see where my glasses went? She asked, looking at the three girls peering out from behind the couch. I'll find them, Mom. Mia scrambled out from behind, walking over to where she thought they had been flung off to. The girl came back, glasses in hand. Thank you, Mia Bug. Happy birthday. Shauna hugged the girl after putting her glasses back on her face. She started collecting the drop party supplies and running them out to the backyard. She came back in and looked at the girls who had all sat around the coffee table, looking at pictures of K-pop and boy bands and discussing whose future love interest they were all three. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me start that over. Sorry. Looking at pictures of K-pop and boy bands and discussing who was whose future love interest when they were all three rich and famous. She chuckled. Mia, there's a surprise for you in the garage, she finally said, the girl's brown hair whipping around as she jumped up, running for the door in a blur of pink and blue, the two other girls on her heels. Slowly, Shauna began to walk in the same direction, pulling her phone out of her pocket of her leggings and checking the message from Katja. Katja, my brother is visiting from Poland. Do you mind if he comes along to the party? Shauna, not a problem. The more the merrier. Shauna added a smile emoji to the text, pressing send as she smiled at her friend's message. She hoped this wasn't one of the woman's attempts to get her dating again. She really just wanted to be alone and work on her mental health. She then started to go through the messages from other parents, asking for the address, double-checking times, asking what Mia wanted for gifts, all the questions she had been expecting to answer. She heard the shriek of joy come from the garage as she leaned against the door jamb. Mom, I can't believe you got me a vanity just like I wanted. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. The final words all running together and sounding more like thank you and then thank you. Not a problem, Mia Bug. I love you. My baby's growing up too fast. She hugged the girl as she ran up to her mother and threw her arms around her shoulders. Mom, I'm not a baby. I'm almost a teenager. The girl rolled her eyes in protest. You don't need to remind me of that. Now, the three of you need to go get dressed for the party. I'm going to go start getting ready too. She turned away as the girls continued to gush over the birthday gift. Okay, I gotta sneeze real quick. Sorry about that. Okay, where was I? Wait till they see the rest of the gift, she said to herself, smiling as she climbed the stairs to her room and started to get dressed and put her makeup and contacts on after doing her hair. She looked at herself in the mirror, satisfied with her appearance. Not super formal for a backyard birthday party, but not too relaxed either. The faded black off-the-shoulder t-shirt and black jeans, very much within her normal style. The look was finished off with a pair of black leather sandals with small metal studs along the surface of the thong, stopping at the toes. Shauna headed back down the stairs to the living room, the girls loudly getting themselves ready. Mom just texted and told me Uncle Stefan is coming to the party too. My uncle is so awesome. I can't wait for y'all to meet him. Julia was excitedly telling the two other girls, her voice carrying from Mia's room upstairs. Then came the part that concerned her. My mom said she's bringing him to meet your mom and see if they like each other. The girl's voice still carried, even though she had lowered her volume and sounded like she was trying to whisper through her enthusiasm. Of course she had an ulterior motive, Shauna sighed, wishing her friend would stop trying to introduce her to men and see what happens. She decided to brush it off and be cordial and just enjoy the party she had worked hard to make happen for her child. It was bad enough that she was worrying about Mia's father inviting himself to the party and ruining the hard work she had put in. She was distracted by the doorbell, making her look at her watch and realize it was time for the inflatables to show up. Shauna ran down to the door, opening it to see the owner of the company that was renting the bounce slide out for the day. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Owens. I wasn't paying attention to the time. She walked out of the house and led the man around to the gate and opened it to the backyard. I left the area you asked me to open. I tried to find every twig I could with the girls' help last night. Hopefully, we got everything, she explained as he walked into the area and looked around. It's fine. If you missed something, we'll find it and take care of it. I'm sure you have your hands full with the party part of this. Leave this part to me and my crew. He reassured her that everything would be fine as she left him and the two men he had brought with him to do their job. As Shauna entered the house again, she could hear the girls in the living room giggling again. They were all sitting on the couch, streaming a music video, having resumed their conversation from earlier. She pulled her phone out of her back pocket of her jeans, texting Katya. Are you going to be getting here soon? I need to get the cake and the balloon bouquet. She must have been on her phone. Her reply came back almost immediately. Katya, almost there. Shauna locked her phone, putting it in her pocket, and walking to the kitchen and starting to prep some of the dry goods that needed to go out to the tables in the backyard, as well as the bottles of soda and a clear punch bowl for the punch she was going to mix. She then pulled her stash of party napkins out of the back of the pantry, setting them next to the collection of sodas. Shauna, we're here, Katya's voice echoed as she opened the door and she walked in through the small hall that ran along the stairs. I'm in the kitchen, she replied, making sure she had pulled everything out before realizing she was missing a bag of pretzels and 2 tubs of cheese puffs. Crossing back to the pantry, she leaned in, pulling her phone out and turned the flashlight on so she could see where they were. She looked behind the big box of fruit snacks her and Mia had shared, finding one of the cheese puff buckets. She sat it down on the shelf beside her hip, trying to figure out why the other one was missing and why there was no sign of the pretzels. She turned off the light, grabbed the bucket of cheese puffs, and stepped away from the door of the pantry just as Katya came into the kitchen, followed by a man that Shauna assumed was her brother. She looked up at him, their eyes meeting, and they both froze. It was him, the night being held back from her dream. What is happening here? You both need to breathe or you're both going to pass out. Katya's voice pulled her out of her momentary shock and back into reality. Oh, I'm sorry, Katya. I don't know what happened there. She shook her head out. Katya's brother seeming to be doing the same when she was Katya's brother seeming to be doing the same when she was. He looked at Katya and said something and then motioned to Shauna. Katya looked at him in surprise and then looked back at Shauna. This is Stefan. He is big brother. Well, Katya's English had gotten better over the years. She sometimes would drop a word here and there. This is Shauna. She's my friend. Katya stepped out of the way, allowing Shauna to extend her hand and to shake Stefan's. It's good to meet you, Stefan said. He smiled as he stepped back, allowing his sister to continue talking to Shauna. How soon did you need to go get the cake? Do you need to go now? She asked, starting to grab things off the counter and turning her head to the yard, towards the yard. She motioned to Stefan with her hand to grab some of the things off the counter and follow her. Yeah, I should get going here really soon. Shauna looked at her, watched, and then looked at her watch and then back at Stefan as he walked away with his sister. What the actual hell? Shauna was beyond confused with what was happening. How was he in that dream? How has he been in all my dreams? She asked herself, her train of thought distracted by the girls wildly yelping. My Uncle Stefan is here. You two have to come meet him. She heard what she assumed was Julia jumping off the couch and running through the sliding door to the backyard, followed shortly by 2 more sets of feet. Shauna looked out the window, watching as the excitable preteen jumped on the man and knocked him over on the ground. She chuckled at the look on his face at being taken down by a child a good third his size. Oh, that's not good. My battery's low. Julia then started to introduce him to Mia and Emma. A huge smile across his face as his niece continued to hang on him as he began to get back up to his feet. He seemed very well versed in standing with a child hanging off his neck. Mom, you have to come out and meet Julia's uncle. He's so cool. Mia ran into the kitchen for a split second and then back out to the yard. Shauna was starting to feel a little overwhelmed with the day. There was still a good 3 hours before guests were going to start showing up. She looked in several more cabinets, looking for the pretzels and the second bucket of cheese puffs. Finally, getting on her hands and knees and looking in the cabinets under the counter. Still couldn't find them. She groaned in frustration. Is there something I can help with? Stefan's voice came from behind her and startled her, causing her to bump her head on the top lip of the cabinet. Ow! Shauna sat on the floor, her hand on the back of her head where it had hit the wood. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. Are you okay? He asked, kneeling down and making sure she wasn't seriously injured. I'm fine, thank you, she assured him as she accepted his extended hand for help standing. She looked into his eyes and she was instantly somewhere else. Shauna looked out from where she stood, the green grass spreading out for miles before feeding into the massive mountains on the horizon. She saw a knight in black armor on a chestnut-colored horse riding towards her, the green dress she wore blowing in the strong breeze crossing the field. The knight and his horse finally crossed the distance, slowing down to stop just short of where she stood. Shauna watched him dismount, remove his helmet, securing it in one of the saddlebags before walking toward her. It was Stefan. Your sister said you might be out here. It was his voice, but his accent was different. And she knew he wasn't speaking English, but she knew she didn't speak it either. I come here to be alone and think. She watched as he took her hand and kissed the back of it, holding it to the skin of his cheek. I can leave you then if you'd like. He continued pressing her hand to his cheek, waiting for her answer. You are more than welcome to stay. I would appreciate your company. She finally pulled her hand from his, returning to picking at the tiny petals of the wildflower she had found. I don't think you know how that makes me feel, my lady. Stefan took a step forward, close enough that he could lean in and press his forehead to hers, close enough for them to kiss. Mom! Mia's voice pulled her back to the real world. Both her and Stefan looked like they had been just standing and looking at each other, her hand in his. Shauna took her hand from him, looking at her daughter like she had just seen her for the first time in their life. I'm sorry, Mia, were you needing help with something? She finally asked. her senses finally settling back into her mind. No, the guy setting up the inflatable needs to talk to you. Mia was looking back and forth between her mother and Stefan. Oh, okay. Go tell him I'll be right there. Thank you, Mia Bug, she told the girl, who turned and ran out the kitchen to relay the message. She looked back at Stefan, who looked as confused as she felt. Were you... His voice trailed off. He looked like he was searching for the words. In the field? She finished. Yes, there. He nodded, confirming what she thought. Have you been having dreams of me? She felt awkward asking, but she was pretty sure of the answer. Yes, Stefan nodded, looking every bit as spooked out by the experience as she was. Okay, well, I need to go talk to the man with the inflatables. I'm sure your sister has something she needs help with, right? She asked him as he continued to look at her. Of course, I will find Katya. He stayed still, continuing to look at Shauna for a few more moments before turning to go find his sister. Shauna waited a few more minutes before going out to talk to Mr. Owens. Once she'd exited the house, she quickly turned away from where everyone else was and made a beeline to the inflatables. After searching, she found him on the back of the canvas, then was taking up the inflatable that was taking up half of her backyard. There you are. Mia told me you wanted to talk to me. She walked up to where he was standing, directing his crew to finish getting the slide ready for the party. Oh, yeah. I wanted to ask you what time tomorrow morning you wanted us to come pick it up. He turned to look at her, leaving the two men to do what they were doing on their own. Oh, you can come anytime after 8 tomorrow, if that's okay. That's when the noise ordinance from the HOA is over. She answered his question, looking back to where the food and decorations were being set up. Katya pointing to Stefan where she wanted him to place something. She hoped she could just slip out to her car, get the cake and balloons, and come back with no issues. Perfect. We'll be right here around that time. Enjoy the party, he told her, and returned to helping the others. Thank you, Shauna waved, going back towards the house. Not so fast. My brother likes you. I can tell. Katya came up and hooked her arm through hers. Shauna's eyes grew wide like a deer in headlights. I don't understand. It came out more of a question than a statement. I know Stefan. He blushes when I bring you up. He doesn't blush easy. Shauna glanced over to look at Stefan, who was giving Julia a piggyback ride around the yard. With how developed his muscles were, she thought he could easily carry all 3 girls and not break a sweat. You too. Katya was staring at her when she looked back at the other woman. She smirked as they reached the door back into the house, Shauna feeling like she was flushing. I'll make sure the 2 of you have time to talk later. Now go get the cake, and I have the party under control. The dark-haired woman turned and walked back to where her brother was playing with the girls, playing keep away with one of the larger party favors he was going to be giving to each, or she was going to be giving to each of the children who came to the party. Smiling softly, she walked through the door, grabbing her keys, sunglasses, and jumping into her car and going on her errands. To Shauna's horror, her ex-husband's car was parked in the front of the house when she came back. She felt her heartbeat race and her breathing started to become quick, the small breaths starting to make her dizzy as she parked the car in front of the garage. All she could do was sit, the car still running. She had been terrified he'd do this. She tried to steady her breathing, preparing herself for the confrontation that was about to happen. She took a deep breath, turned the car off, got out, unpacked the cake, and walked into the house. The scene Shauna was greeted with stopped her in her tracks. Katya was arguing with Matt. The girls, Steph and Stefan, were standing at the back door watching. Mia was in tears, Emma and Julia trying to comfort her. Stefan was standing in the door between the girls and the arguing adults. At least he didn't come during the party, the thought popped into her mind as her shoulders slumped in resignation from the situation. Matt, get the hell out of my house! She all but charged him, making him jump in surprise from her sudden appearance. Shauna, you can't keep me from Mia, he yelled aggressively, puffing his chest out at her, trying to look bigger than he was. I'm not keeping her from you, and you damn well know that. You were supposed to have time with her tonight, but I don't think she'll want to go with you after this. Shauna was looking over to where Mia was still standing, watching the two argue, tears staining her cheeks. She took a deep breath, closing her eyes for a second, and then opened them again. She looked at him again, the fire in his eyes reflecting something she didn't expect. Sure, the superiority and narcissism were there, but what caught her off guard was the outright loathing look she was receiving. She blinked and was in the middle of a courtyard, two knights with scarlet heraldry holding her down on her knees and forcing her to look at the cardinal. No, Matt, looming over her. Do you still refuse to convert? Do you still reject the Lord God and his holy Son? He looked down his nose at her, flicking his eyes to the side as a noise just outside the courtyard attracted his attention. This is your final chance. Do you repent your sins of worshiping the demon gods of the old ways? Matt looked over his shoulder again, a similar noise ringing through the air again. It was the sound of swords fighting. Someone was fighting on the other side of the north wall. I will never abandon the gods of my ancestors. To do so would be as much a sin to them as not worshiping the God of your supplication. She replied as Matt's gloved hand came up under her chin and grabbed her throat, the other grabbing her by the hair. Then I hereby sentence you to. He stopped what he was saying and looked to the entrance of the courtyard where yelling and more sword fighting could be heard. Then the Black Knight, Stefan, came through the arch, running to where she was with the two knights and the cardinal. Stop him! Matt yelled at one of the knights, who let go of Shauna's hair and stepped away to intercept Stefan. Their swords met, the metal on metal echoing off the walls of the small courtyard as he pushed the cardinal's knight down on the ground, stabbing him. Stefan then refocused his attention on Shauna, Matt, and the knight, coming towards them as a man on a mission. Stop, heathen. I will have him behead her if you take her one step closer. The cardinal's hand went up, and the knight holding her, drawing his sword and placing it on her neck. This concerns me a great deal. I have asked her to be my wife, and therefore, as my bride, to be under the protection of my father's principality. Stefan removed his helmet as he began to speak, looking Matt in the eyes. Your father has no power in his majesty's realm. As it is, the law of the papacy overrides all other law, and she has been condemned of witchcraft and cavorting with demons. By church law, that means she's to be burned at the stake as a witch she is. The cardinal finished, looking over his shoulder to where Shauna was still being held with the sword at her throat, and then back at the Black Knight. Why does that mean she's a witch? Because she still practices the old ways and refuses to bow to your Jesus? I think it is an excuse for your church to rule over even kings. I will not leave here without her alive and unharmed. He stepped forward, bringing himself closer. Shauna closed her eyes, and when she opened them, she was back in the hall of her house, Matt and Katya back at their yelling match. Katya having switched to her native Polish at some point. Matt looking terrified. She looked over to where Stefan was, the look on his face revealing he was just as confused as she was again. Evidently, he had been drawn back into the dream, too. The flashing in and out of the dream was starting to get to be a lot to deal with on top of everything else. Then there was Matt's presence. It bothered her she had not registered it was him before now, and him showing up at her house was making her feelings about the dreams worse. Matt, I'm calling the police. You know you're not supposed to be here without a prior arrangement. She pulled her phone out from her pocket and dialing the non-emergency number, waiting for it to ring. Police department, non-emergency, how can I help? The voice of the desk sergeant came through the speaker as she began to tell him what was happening. Okay, I'll send an officer over. We'll have them come as quick as they can, his reply came, Shauna nodding as the officer hung up the phone. Matt, an officer is going to be coming over soon. Do you want to reconsider your choices today? Shauna announced, and Katya was holding Matt by the arm, trying to keep him from heading to the backyard where Mia and the other girls were. With how petite Katya was, Shauna was impressed with how well she was holding the tall, lanky man back. It looked like Stefan was waiting for something to happen before getting himself involved. He was using his own body to block the sliding door, making another obstacle for Matt to have to contend with. With Stefan easily outweighing and outmuscling Matt, Shauna didn't think things were going to end well if the two men ended up in a fight. Shauna decided to step in before any real blows were thrown, putting herself between them. Her hope was that the officer would show up before Matt got violent like he had in the past. Closing her eyes and hoping the cop would show up soon, she faced Matt, yelling, "Matt, cut it out!" Somehow she managed to get her voice loud enough to get Matt's attention, snapping him out of whatever had gotten into him. "Shauna, it's not fair. She's my daughter too. She needs her father." He was pleading with her. "And no one has said you won't get time with her. Your time with her is tonight, after the party, if she still wants to go with you after this." Shauna emphasized that she was going to leave the choice up to Mia. "She's a kid. How can she know what she wants?" Matt sneered at her. "Mia's old enough to make those kinds of decisions on her own." Her reply came calm and measured. "Fine, I'll be back for her tonight at 6. She better be ready to go." He spit at Shauna's feet as he turned around and stomped toward his front door. "You are a rude and vile man." Katya was walking after him, making sure he actually left the property, meeting up with the cop as she walked through the open front door to the front stoop. Shauna was not far behind her. "Oh, good. He is the one you were called for. He tried to ruin his daughter's birthday party." She pointed after Matt, who was getting into his car. "I'll be right back," the officer said as he turned around and walked up to the car, stopping Matt from leaving before he was able to talk to him. Shauna and Katya stood on the walk out in front of the house, watching as the two men spoke to each other. After another 2 minutes, the officer ended the conversation and started heading back towards the two women. "Who's Shauna Danes?" the officer asked as he came up to them. "That would be me." She raised her hand half-heartedly, just wanting Mia's party to go well. Both mother and daughter needed the win. "I spoke with Mr. Cromwell, and he's claiming that you are keeping his daughter from him. Would there be a reason you might do that?" He looked at Shauna, waiting for her answer. "I said I would leave it up to Mia. She's old enough to make that choice on her own." She's repeating what she had said to Matt before he left the house. "I see. She's how old?" he asked her. "She turns 12 today. I'm trying to throw her birthday party she wanted. She specifically asked for her father not to come for this very reason," she explained while looking into the house and through the hall to the door of the yard. Oh. Stefan had disappeared along with the 3 girls. Hopefully Mia had relaxed once her father had left. "That's good enough for my purposes. If she's 12, that's fine. She decides on her own. If he comes back and causes issues, please call the desk again. Ask for Sergeant Brandt. I'll be here as quickly as I can." He gave Shauna a card with his information and badge number. He nodded his head as he removed his hat for both women and left, returning to a squad car. "Let's go back to the house and check on the girls." Katya placed her hand on Shauna's back, rubbing between the shoulders to help her relax. "We have a party to finish setting up," Shauna agreed, as Katya closed the door behind them and headed toward the sliding glass door that led to the yard. They slid the door open, looking around to see where the girls were, seeing all 3 of them playing on the inflatable, Stefan being in a game of tag. He very easily could have tagged any one of the girls, but was obviously holding back and letting them all get away before he could tag them. This is why he is Julia's favorite uncle. He knows how to play games without hurting feelings. He has always been sensitive that way. Katya stopped to watch, crossing her arms over her abdomen. "Wait, you're the old one? I thought you said he was the big brother." Shauna was confused. "Oh no, I'm the older, smarter one. He's the big brother." The dark-haired woman chuckled, looking at Shauna and flexing her arms like a bodybuilder. "He's only 2 years younger, so same age you are. I think you're slightly older than him." Katya patted her on the back and then walked to the inflatable, getting excited when Julia came down the slide, asking if she had seen her come down. Shauna sighed and turned to go back into the house and finish the preparations for the party. She had a lot to think about. Dun dun dun.
First of all, I need a wiffle ball bat and the address of the real one. I just want to have a conversation. I promise I'll stay calm.
No.
I also say, Izzy, you're my alibi, and I'm possibly going to need bail money. Just say, head time. And is this like an Outlander thing that we're dealing with here? I mean,
No.
it seems very Outlander-ish. I mean, not Outlander as in, okay, we keep going back and forth to like Ireland or something like that, but Outlander as in we keep going back and forth between timelines.
It's past life. It's the past life.
I'd plead the fifth on the grounds that it might incriminate me.
Well, it's always going to incriminate you, but go ahead and say it anyway.
It's the past life prompt from last week.
Ooh, okay.
Bleeding into her real life.
Gotcha. Patrick's like, I'm not buying it. Well,
why not?
You gotta buy it.
Why not?
Because that's our story and we're sticking to it. Wow. Just yeah. That's some shit right there. That is. Again, I want to play like Mr. Big Tex and be like, hey, I just want to have a conversation. I'm going to be calm about it. I can't guarantee you're going to be calm while I'm talking and or torturing your ass. But we're going to be calm about it.
Okay. I don't know how this is going to work. My phone is on 8%. I have to unplug my headphones and plug my phone in, so I don't know how
If
well
we're
I'm
gonna
going to hear it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So if I'm quiet for the rest of the stream, that's probably why it's just not working.
I can be good. Izzy, tell him.
That's what he's not buying. Okay.
I have nothing to say.
Am I going to get a strongly worded letter?
Want to, or because you...
No, that's a private best friend who have known each other for 27, 28 years conversation with keyword phrases. That's all I gotta do.
Oh, okay. So this is a offline kind of conversation. Okay. I see. We've had some some real doozies tonight.
Yeah.
But we always have. I mean, that's the whole great, beautiful thing about this show is we all got the same prompt, and yet we all got
Ad break.
Like starting or
Yeah, starting.
oh, okay.
I'm not sure if that's going through your headphones, Cash. Because I can hear that very rattly AC unit that all of those hotel rooms have.
Yeah. It keeps
there it
like
is.
jumping off for some reason. I don't know what's going on there.
Sounds better now.
Okay. Let me try something here.
So, we are 20 minutes or so past. So we gotta roll for next week's prompts.
Roll and run. I mean, honestly, even with just the 4 prompts, if I hadn't had the giggles for a good solid 5 minutes, we might have gotten done a little sooner. Probably not, but I'd like to think so. But we have an ad break in 2 minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot the shit and get everything ready to roll as soon as the ad break's over. But again, this is the beauty of this show. We all get the same prompt. We all get the same opportunity. And
Nope.
we all came out with very different versions of the fucking story.
Nope. Yarp.
So I am extremely delighted at the prompters, and hopefully, God willing, the creek shall rise. Our audience will grow a little bit, and we'll get some new blood in here. Not saying anything wrong with the current blood we have. It's just um
We want to expand and grow and have more people encouraged.
yes, even if it's just come and be silly with us on a Saturday night. It is what it is. Which we'll have to look at Kesha's schedule and everybody else's schedule to get a meeting set up, because there have been some new things presented that I don't want to talk about on open air until we have talked about it offline. So
Okay.
we might have some very new, interesting things coming about in the next little bit. We don't know yet. We do know that if you go to Julie DeFisher blog, or go over to the Discord and go into intros, you'll get all the blog posts. Follow me on all social media and you'll get the new blog posts. I do set up a blog for 3 times a week. So that's fun.
8 seconds, it's ending.
The in progress. Your community is back. Well, thank you. I don't think they actually freaking left, but it's like it's there. All right. Izzy, are we ready?
We are ready.
First roll of the night. Let's hope they're being nice to us tonight. I might have to soak them in some moon water and see if we can't attempt to make it better. 56. Starting off strong, I think. Hope, maybe. That's a no. That's a straight up no.
Write about someone who can communicate with ghosts, but only on the condition that they must solve their unfinished business.
Well, that plays right into Kesha's thing from tonight, I'm guessing. I have no idea. That's some shit right there, though. Okay, here we go. 16. Coming in hard with the 6s so far. So that would be 116. Oh, shit.
That didn't sound good.
It didn't.
A character can share their dreams with others.
We just stacking the deck for Kesh to continue this? I mean, what the fuck?
She needs to get over that 100,000 word submitted line, I guess.
I don't know. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Kind of depends on if Mr. Man lets me have time to write this week, considering he's been gone for 2 months.
67.
That's the third 6, right?
Yeah, in some form. What?
Starting first line. Bacon sandwiches always reminded her. ... Fill in the rest of the sentence. And why, when I saw bacon, I thought Dahlia.
Because we already have French toast. Okay.
French toast.
30. Oh God, here we go.
Starting first line. As the red stain spread over the flawless cream carpet, something in Fiona's mind broke free.
Oh shit. I've already used that fucking.
All right. Now to our fan favorite dialogue.
46.
Another 6.
Submitted by our fearless leader. Use this dialogue. Give me one good reason why I should wear a dress.
Is that Julie to me?
No, that was a me to Izzy, and then she explained to me that I had to look pretty, and yeah, that's how the fuck that one started.
And somehow I got involved.
76, which I think is a reroll.
Dice are really liking those 6s tonight.
Another submitted by our fearless leader. You had time to call the police. Why didn't you?
That was Dom's line.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They are in the chat. Concept: write about someone who can communicate with ghosts, but only on the condition that they must solve their unfinished business. Number 2, a character can share their dreams with others. Number 3, start lines. Bacon sandwiches always reminded her. Finish the sentence. Start line: as the red stain spread over the flawless cream carpet, something in Fiona's mind broke free. Number 5, dialogue: give me one good reason why I should wear a dress. Number 6, use this dialogue: you had time to call the police. Why didn't you? And both dialogues have been submitted by Julie, which, remember, if you come across, prompts or lines that you think would be really good, or concepts that would be really good, feel free to reply to the newsletter or send them in general. We'll add them to the lists. All right,
They're
there's
all
6.
really good.
There's 4.
I'm saying 4.
Okay, so we got 1 6, 2 4s. Um, Izzy says 4. Okay, so Julie doesn't have to vote.
I think 4 has it.
No,
How
we
many people do
haven't.
we have?
According to what I'm looking at over here, it's the three of us up here and Trisha and Patrick. No, we have not added Pack in yet. We actually had some because Patrick was being a smartass across the aisleway from us, and one of the people that stopped first at his table and then at ours put in a submission. So, based on the conversation they had, but we will get those added in. Um, they're right down there. They're like they're right they're right down there. So what we'll do since July is about halfway over, I'll get them added in and we will randomize the lists again because we have not randomized them for quarter 1 or quarter 2.
Right.
I randomized them at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But
Well, I didn't know if we were going to do it every quarter or if we were going to randomize them in the middle of the year, and then of course toward the end of the year we go back through the list, see what we want to keep, what we don't want to keep, what is going to be starred or double starred.
Yeah, it's essentially right now the big long list is it has an asterisk on it if we're like it's been on the list for a while, maybe we need to like 86 it, you know, at the end of the year. And 2 asterisks uh
I think 2 asterisks means it was picked within, it was rolled for, but it wasn't picked.
no. One is that we're going to review it in 2026. Number 2 asterisks is we are going to revamp it, maybe reword it, because a lot of the concept ones don't get picked because for a lot of us it would start a whole new whip. And then 3 asterisks is the unvoted option. Are we going to reuse it or not? Because some of you guys like to throw not just the official prompt in, but other ones in. So, like,
I mean, there was a whole
yeah,
thing about Ethan.
there was a whole thing about Ethan. There was a whole thing about
I
Ethan.
still need to go do something. I need to work on
All
that.
right. So we have number 4, start line. As the red stain spread over the flawless cream carpet, something in Fiona's mind broke free.
Bum, bum, bum.
So yeah, I mean, this may have started with Julie getting a burr under her salad
Burr in my salad.
saddle. Well, last week I had to bring salad up because last week there was all that what constitutes a salad.
Oh God.
But the burr in her bonnet, bee in her bonnet, burr in her saddle, whatever, and decided, hey, let's gonna do this show. And we've been flying by the seat of our pants for so long. Okay, great. But a lot of stuff that we have done in the background has literally been lists, newsletters, website, keeping massive lists and plans and everything. And um Julie and Kesh the last 2 weeks and Shar several times have gotten a taste for what I do when I'm reading aloud to y'all every week. This is really a team effort. I constantly refer to Julie as our fearless leader because it's her fault. All of it is her fault. Um, but I'm the kind of person that, the more buy-in I have from those around me, the more ideas I'm going to come up with, the more things that, hey, let's do this. And I'm going to do everything in my power to keep them going, even running a computer setup when I'm sick as a dog. So we couldn't do it without you guys.
We can't do it without you. And the whole thing is it's not my fault. This could have fizzled out. It did look like it
It
was
is,
going to for a minute, but
but this
it
was
didn't.
your idea. You started going live. This is your fault. You had a really great idea, so that makes it your fault, which could also mean you get the credit.
Mm,
Credit,
Either
blame, two sides of the same coin.
all depends on who's complaining about it. Uh, you know, praise and complaint, is just different sides of perspective. But at this particular point, I'm not the one to blame here. Blame the little gremlins in my head, and they are a separate entity altogether. They've proven that
They
they
are.
have.
They are.
So, with no further ado, because it is approaching on the 10 o'clock hour, and that's usually when we go ahead and jumpy for the night. Usually we've jumpy before this, but it's hey, whatever. We're here. It's fine. Um, and be on the lookout because I'm pretty sure Izzy's going to go back through and do the little cutout of Julie having a 5-minute laugh because she couldn't say the word snort, and that's fine.
I think we need to keep it in.
No, like make it its own separate clip, is what she's talking about.
Oh,
That can be watched over and over and over again and is perpetually on the Hold My Pen Promptcast channel page.
Right. Because I know Izzy likes and that was the whole reason we started everything like that is we needed the little clips, we needed the little haha moments to let you know that hey, we are not fucking professionals here. We are literally 12 10, 3, 6, yeah, 12 if we want to count at least the one other person that's usually in here. We are 12 reindeers in a coat. I meant to say possums. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
I mean, there is that. So, yeah. Oh, I gotta find it. Where did it go? So that I can move it. Move. Okay. Well, because once we select them, I take them out of the big long list and move them into a spot that says these are the used prompts for season 1 and for season 2. And there we go. So that is going to be due July 26th, 3 p.m. Central on July 26th. And hey, guess what, guys? This will be our 30th episode of the year. 30th episode of the year next Saturday. Holy cow. Holy freaking cow. And last year we only had 30. Really, you're muted?
Yeah, we only had
Is
30
that
for the whole damn year.
We had
is
only
that
30 for,
including like the
well,
Saturday
no.
Sundays as one episode?
Yes. So
Okay.
30 prompts, 30 issued prompts. We only had 30 last year, and next week is our 30th for 2025. I feel like we have gotten this down to a science, and we're still not all that serious about it. But yeah, we are. The only thing we're serious about is emotional damage to our readers and our characters. Uh, and a rising tide lifts all ships. We encourage one another, and the friendly competition. Just write. You know, just write. Get the words on the page. Tell your story. So that you have a manuscript that can go through editing and get a cover and
Formatting.
become a book. Yeah.
Believe me, it's just a real process. But everybody's like, oh no, that's the hard part. No, 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 no. Writing's the easy part. We put a lot of stress on ourselves to get it right and get it out there and everything like that. But the writing, the actual putting the words on the page is the easy part. Whether it's the everything that comes after. It's the mind numbing. In my case, the mind numbing. Is this the right fucking timeline? Because yeah, I do that. But anywho,
Yep.
we're gonna go ahead and back on out of here tonight. Remember, be brave, be bold, always stay humble, and be on the lookout. We might go live tomorrow night. More than likely, we are not. So this will be the first Sunday in a minute that we won't be live. But if you want to catch us, go over to the Discord, hit all the links, sign up for the newsletter, do all the things, and you will see us again next week. Have a great week. Remember, it's not that fucking serious. And we are always here. See you later. Bye, guys.